Thank you all for coming today. My name is Taylor Gorrell. Video games have become one heck of a form of art nowadays, heck of a form of media. But back in the days of the Nintendo 64, a bunch of you probably remember that, did you ever think that video games would ever be connected to this newfangled experiment called the Internet? Well, that's been done for at least 10 years or so, because we now have the advent of online video games, especially a certain type called the massively multiplayer online video game, or shorthand MMO, which contain huge worlds for players to explore and also to connect with each other. So I figured I'd tell you all about this. Main thing to note if you're going into MMORPGs, not MMORPGs, I'm sorry, that's later on, is that the online community in there is very social. I mean, seriously, players interact with real-time interactions through voice chats, private messages, text messages, whatever. Sometimes the games themselves even encourage or even prioritize teamwork. Some games, like Team Fortress 2, have team-based gameplay as a key gameplay mechanic, while others simply allow you to join up with in-game groups, usually called guilds, with a lot of the fantasy motifs that most MMOs have, in order to coordinate with other players. And even then, the servers themselves are often trying to get more players in, because sometimes the servers will host special festivities for like milestones, like maybe player count, or holidays like Christmas, in order to bring in more players so they can join in on the festivities. But as social as the gaming community can be, one major subset of them is the competitive circuit, because competition has become a major part of video games in general. For most part, a lot of times in these sorts of situations, the players will often compare everything about their characters to each other, stats, equipment, what have you. And a lot of servers will often have boundaries that separate where player versus player, or PvP, where players can attack each other in combat games, to where it is allowed and not allowed. So you've got a lot of fair warning. Even when there's no official competition going on, some players will often provoke each other into competing with each other, like say defeating a set amount of monsters in a horde, getting to a certain place in the quickest time, which usually comes with restrictions on how they can get there, so like no teleportation skills or whatnot. Finding an area that has lots of treasures in them and basically treasure hunting, or just provoking them into one-on-one fights so they can beat the snot out of each other. But some of the bigger named RPGs, like World of Warcraft, for example, or League of Legends, actually host real-life tournaments that players can come to and compete against each other for real prizes, like money and stuff. But you gotta be careful when it comes to the competition circuit. They are not all friendly, and some of them may give you grief just because you're not part of them. But the real draw behind going into MMOs is that you get a lot of freedom when it comes to customizing the character you play as, your avatar, so to speak. These games often have a huge degree of customization, ranging from down your clothing all the way down to your character's hair, eye, and even skin color. And some even allow you to choose your character's race, because there's multiple different species in some MMOs. And even when initial customization isn't enough, the game also offers in-game shops to purchase little knickknacks to deck out your character in order to make you seem much different from anyone else. And beyond just cosmetics, there's even character classes, which are present in nearly every MMO game, which completely change your play style, as well as your look. I've brought off a lot of good draws, but another real one is that MMOs are divided into genres, just like any other type of video game. So there's something out there for you. Like the one I've been like the main one MMO I've been bringing up, which is the one I've mistakenly said multiple times already, is the MMORPG, massively multiplayer online role-playing game. And even that has variants. Like the traditional MMORPG is point and click, move your character, defeat a bunch of monsters, level up your character. It's the works, which is why a lot of these are in medieval fantasy settings, which works wonders for them. But even so, most more recent MMOs like L-Sword, if I can name one, eschew the point and click aspects in favor of old school side-scrolling platforming. As a way to throw back of the games that started the video game craze, which usually involves combining them with combines with aspects of combo-oriented fighting games. There's also the MMO FPS, the FPS standing for first-person shooter. You might recognize these kinds of games as like Call of Duty, Halo, or games like those. But MMO FPSs usually don't really focus on the campaign mode, instead of just going for high-octane gun-blasting action. But for those of you that aren't too much on action, we also have creation MMOs and also tower defense MMOs. A good example of the former being Minecraft, which instead puts your creative mind to the test in order to build whatever house you may want or defend your base from enemy attacks. So in summation, MMOs are a massive hallmark on where video games have come in the recent years. Between their social aspects and the competitive circuit and the both integration and segregation of the two, it can be a very impressive experience for both casual and hardcore gamers. The customization allows you to either make your own character or make them a facsimile of some cartoon character. But no matter what you're going for, there's always something out there for you. There's a ton of different worlds out there for you to explore in the MMO circuit. Which one will you choose?